For those of you who don't know, I am a resident of Chicago, Illinois. Now, I know as we're cutting to the video right now, we are seeing, wow, Nick, what is this? Where are we right now? So today is actually my birthday. I'm visiting my father in Michigan, so that's why my setup is super scuffed right now. Don't worry, bear with me. We'll get back to normal. But anyways, as somebody who does live in America's third largest city, I often see high-rises being constructed, train platforms, different residential areas, and I walk past them sometimes and I go, wow, that building is being constructed. I wonder when that'll be done. And then I move on with my day. You know what I don't do, though, is I don't wake up 2 months from that day in a cold sweat thinking, God, I wonder, what's the progress on that building? We got to go check that out. Simply because I don't care, and no one does. Using this same principle, it actually makes complete sense why somebody like yourself probably hasn't watched much of the Detroit Pistons and doesn't really understand where they are as a franchise right now. The only time that you ever do watch them is probably when they're playing your favorite team. They're rebuilding, and it's not always that pretty. Sometimes it's just kind of oh my gosh, it's just so groggy and gross. But this video is your little indication that hey, sorry. Pistons are kind of back. With the NBA lottery on the horizon, as of this recording, we are 6 days away from Cade Cunningham becoming a Detroit Piston. It's probably a good time for people to become familiar with the fact that the Detroit Pistons, as the title of this video suggests, did have 2 rookies this season that were better than your rookies on your team. Those players were, of course, Isaiah Stewart and Saddiq Bey. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, whoa, Killian Hayes. Whoa, Nick, are you out on Killian? Are you out on Killian Hayes already? No. Hip injury kind of derailed everything. The whole Killian thing, it's probably a separate video. I love Killian. He's very near and dear to my heart. But because he missed a bunch of time this season, and in his absence, Saddiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart rose from the ashes and just added more validity to the statement that Troy Weaver is going to win an Executive of the Year award within the next 5 seasons. These 2 guys are legit, to say the least. And this might come off as like a joke or I'm seeming hyperbolic. Saddiq Bey literally broke upwards of 10 NBA/Pistons franchise records for threes made in a single season by a rookie. Also, if memory serves, I'm pretty sure he was on pace to break the single-season record for threes made in a single season by a rookie had we played the full 82 this season. Now, despite all this, teams are still leaving him open. I don't really understand how this kept happening, but it felt like if Saddiq Bey is shooting 5 threes in a game, he's open for 3 of them. And it's not even like it was finding soft spots. Like, defenses would just forget about him. It was perplexing. Now, admittedly, early on in the season, he did have a lot of problems from anywhere else on the floor that wasn't from beyond 27 feet from the basket. Like, I think he was shooting in the first 2 months of the season. The guy was shooting like 10% on 2-pointers. And that's something that slowly developed as the season came along, and that was great to see. What we loved about him was that he was also the true quintessential embodiment of a 3-and-D guy in the NBA. He had really strong hips, he had quick feet, super athletic, jumping into passing lanes, making everything just really annoying for a ball handler. Now, naturally, all of this will culminate to a spot on the NBA's all-rookie team, whether it be first or second, still remains to be seen, but without question, he will get on one of them. Now we move on to Isaiah Stewart. If you go back to draft night, the Pistons had actually traded for that 16th pick in the draft. I think it was with Houston. And if you go back to when we initially made the pick, I had a tweet about it. A lot of Pistons fans did. We were like, wow, another traditional big. That's cute. And that was because Isaiah Stewart did this weird Kevin Porter Jr. thing on the court. We look at Kevin Porter Jr. in 2009. Was it the 2000? Yeah, it was the 2019 NBA draft, and we were just like, that guy straight up is a volume 3-point shooter. I want that on my basketball team. He went 30th overall. Now, the poetry here is Milwaukee actually owned that pick originally. Then Detroit trades for it by trading John Lure to Milwaukee for Tony Snell and that same pick in a salary dump in order for John Horst and the Milwaukee Bucks to stay under the luxury tax. Then, on draft night, people were like, oh my gosh, wow, Kevin Porter Jr. coming to Detroit. That's going to be fun. Nope! At the 11th hour, Dan Gilbert, Kobe Altman, they swoop in and they get the pick from us. I don't remember even what that trade package was like, but we traded it to Cleveland. So as it happens, Kevin Porter Jr. goes to Cleveland, and we're just seeing that there's a lot more in his bag offensively. His arsenal was a lot vaster. There was more of it than I don't know why I was doing like a Red Sea parting. There was just more of Kevin Porter Jr. than we thought that there was going to be. He's putting the ball on the floor. He's putting his head down. He's attacking the basket. He was even putting up some middies. Like, there was more to his game than what we saw in college, and we were like, oh. This also happened to Isaiah Stewart. We knew he could do the bully ball thing. We knew he could rebound. I think, if memory serves, again, I don't remember if this is actually true. I'm pretty sure he was the most efficient scorer at the rim in college basketball last season. Maybe it was just the Pac-12. I think it was something like that. We knew the guy could score. Now, when he's originally brought into the league, he's behind guys like Mason Plumlee. He's behind guys like Jahlil Okafor, and Dwayne Casey's making him fight for these minutes. He's giving him pockets of maybe 5-10 minutes here and there, and he's like, show me what you got. And then Isaiah Stewart this is a lot. Hello. Think about Thanasis Antetokounmpo and the energy that he has. Imagine if that translated to basketball skill while still keeping the energy. How do I articulate this? Isaiah Stewart is as skilled in a basketball sense as Thanasis Antetokounmpo is talented at being a hype man. Do you get what I'm saying? James Edwards III of The Athletic comes out and he's like, guys, I'm going to let you know a little bit of a secret. I think by the end of the season, Isaiah Stewart, he's going to be picking and popping. You're going to be seeing some threes. And to his credit, he hit the nail right on the head. He saw that from the grassy knoll. He's like, bam, right between the... Wow, this joke got super dark. But it did come to fruition, and it did take a pretty sizable chunk of time. I think it was maybe around halfway through the season when Isaiah really started to get comfortable with those shots. Dwayne Casey was still like, we're not really looking for those shots, but if he takes them, because every time the ball went up, if Isaiah Stewart caught it along the three-point line, every time he shot it, it looked good. His mechanics are good. And it was the same thing whenever he would take those elbow jumpers. You just felt good about the shot. Even if it didn't go in, you appreciate the confidence. Now, obviously, defensively, people liken him to Ben Wallace all the time. And if you still think that Isaiah Stewart and Ben Wallace are similar in any way, I don't know what basketball you need to watch, if it's this iteration of the Pistons and you need to watch Isaiah Stewart, or if you need to watch like a going to work documentary. They play a lot of really good defense, and they're both centers, and he's a Piston, so he's Ben Wallace. No. People try to do the same thing with Montrezl Harrell, and that was bananas. But these high-energy guys, these agitators, Isaiah Stewart as a shot blocker is out of this world. These two rookies are going to make an all-rookie team. If Isaiah Stewart doesn't, someone is going to get fought. Both of these guys fit the mold of what you need to succeed as an organization in the NBA, in the plans that Troy Weaver has laid out, the timelines that he's laid out, the guys that he has amalgamated over his first year as general manager. We have Cade Cunningham on deck, maybe Evan Mobley, maybe Jalen Green. Jeremy Grant was a home run. Killian Hayes could still be a home run. Isaiah Stewart, grand slam. Saddiq Bey. Now, there's some poetry. I'll end on this. There's some poetry with the Saddiq Bey thing. Honestly, I was going to end this video a different way. Let me actually just say this, and I'll let you go. There's some poetry here. There's a 3-team trade. Luke Kennard gets sent to the Clippers. Landry Shamet gets sent to Brooklyn. This is the pick that was eventually Saddiq Bey, which was Brooklyn's pick, gets traded to Detroit. Do you wonder if Saddiq Bey would have been better than Shamet for the Nets right now? That's too bad that Troy Weaver is just better than your guys' GMs.